So Speedsters, King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. Is that good or bad filler? Well, the episode is now been and gone, and we need to break this down. How's it going, Speedsters? Welcome to a brand new Flash review. Now, this is for episode 15, and we have waited a while for this episode because it's been on break for a while, and that is King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. Now, this episode was better than what I expected. I didn't expect it to be bad, but I'm not one of those. I mean, I've seen quite a lot of people out there saying they've been really excited for King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd. I think there's definitely two ends of the spectrum here, maybe three, I guess, in the sense of people really excited for this, more than what I actually thought. With King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd being a massive filler episode, but like people are really excited for the comic bookiness of it. And then there's people in the middle who are just kind of like me, like, yeah, I don't really particularly mind if they skipped past it and did more development in something else. And then there's people at the other end of the spectrum who are just like, I don't give a shit about this. Why are they doing this? God damn it. And as I said, being in the middle, neither like really wanting it, nor really like being anything against it. I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll see what happens, I suppose. And it was better than expected. The effects were really cool, especially that fight that happened in the episode. And they even made quite a cool story out of King Shark by humanizing him quite a lot, especially with, well, I was about to say his wife, but technically isn't his wife. Tanya from Earth 1, because that's Earth 1's King Shark's wife. It's kind of confusing. But before we get into the specifics of it, everyone, crush that thumbs up button to make sure you let YouTube know that you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos just like this, and it really does help me out, so I really appreciate it. And of course, subscribe for more Flash videos just like this. So starting off the episode, the Metahuman Cure is done. We knew that from, well, we kind of knew like it was being cooked in the previous episode by Barry and the Speed Force. Team Flash were just like, we need to test this cure on somebody, but who else can we test it on other than King Shark, a guy who probably doesn't want to be like that in the first place. But I loved how they chucked Lila in. Of course, there was that little flashpoint dig at Barry. First of all, it was really cool how she met Nora. That was pretty cool because, having to explain the whole daughter thing, but Lila just, as I said, when, you have a baby that turned from a girl to a boy, or like whatever with Flashpoint, you kind of get used to it, and Barry's just like, yeah, about that. But of course, everyone, this episode also brought us Joe West. I was very happy to see him in this episode. They did a good job at explaining his backstory, I believe, because, he went to go see Wally. I mean, they have said that I guess he hasn't been in Tibet the whole time, because they have said he's been out with Jenna, the baby in the freaking pram doing whatever. But I guess for the long duration of his disappearance from the Flash, because he's had a back injury in real life, he just wanted to like chill out there with Wally and, rest his old soul, or whatever they kind of put it in the episode. And as for Iris West in this episode, I guess I liked her storyline in sense of, it did make sense, but it was just kind of a surprise to me in the sense that I liked her scenes with Joe. She didn't want to go back to the Central City Citizen office. I always get tongue twisted when I say that, because of the whole Cicada thing. He before it was like Cicada didn't know exactly who they were, but now he can literally go to the CCC, I guess I'll call it now, office to, try and kill her whenever he wants, which is, I completely understand that. That's risky. So this whole episode, she didn't really want to go back and be alone. She kind of wanted to hang out with Joe. And as for Wild's surprise, I guess I was just a little bit surprised that Iris was, avoiding Cicada that much, because I thought she was badass, like not scared of Cicada, like especially with what they did at the end of the last episode where she walked out on that rooftop and now everyone else got involved. And then, Cicada flew off. So I don't know, it felt a bit random, and I really didn't like, and I'm not being an Iris West hater here or anything like that, I just generally didn't like the writing of this part, which is like, oh my god, King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd, how did I miss that? And I definitely appreciated the group chat bit with like Cisco sending a gif, and Joe being like, but Grodd doesn't like banana. But it just, I was like, really, Iris had no idea that was going on. Okay. But as for the whole King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd storyline, I thought it was, I think what made it really good for me is that I didn't expect this kind of storytelling in this episode, if I'm being completely bluntly honest. I thought it'd be just a bunch of fan servicey CGI thrown in the mix, and there wouldn't be too much story to it, but they did a very good job, I feel, personally, with the writing. As I've already mentioned, they did a good job with humanizing King Shark, but even like Gorilla Grodd's excuse for escaping was pretty cool. So initially they had that little like head crown, whatever you want to call it, put on King Shark to try and curb his like violent behavior, but then he kind of escapes, but we really realize that this is Gorilla Grodd trying to hijack King Shark's mind. And by this certain point in in the episode, we learned that on the night of the Age of Enlightenment, Gorilla Grodd has essentially had his ability to escape because he hijacked the guard's mind within that 1 second. It like screwed with the cells dampening things or whatever. Grodd waited for around a year to escape because he wanted to use that crown to amplify his mental abilities, like as they put it in the episode, 1,000-fold. Like with that mental crown of his, and as we know, Grodd is very telepathically kind of smart and insanely talented, right? His abilities, right? That would F over the whole city. He could, as they said in the episode, control everyone. Going back to King Shark for a second, I did like it when like Cisco got grabbed and Barry just felt like he had to use the cure then, and that's when we had like the normal version of King Shark throughout the episode, and he was kind of... It was like this weird storyline because she, as I said, had been with the Earth 1 version of King Shark. I can't remember his real name for the life of me right now. And it's like she was falling in love with him. And even though I found like it odd, but I do get it at the same time because that would be really trippy. As I said, his story in terms of humanizing him in this episode was really interesting because the cure was working even though the dark matter was replicating itself in one gland or something in his body, meaning that, like he was going to come back or something eventually. They were going to figure out for him to like stay human. But when Gorilla Grodd escaped, he had to literally sacrifice his potential normal life with Tanya, and then potentially getting together and just trying to live that happy life together for the sake of saving Central City, the Flash, Nora, who had been captured by this point, and defeating Gorilla Grodd. Like, he had to throw all of that away and live as King Shark forever, which, has more, strain than just looking like King Shark, but it also screws with his mind because he has, like, the animalistic, like, tendencies of being a shark, even though a shark, whatever. I don't know, I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't expect that storyline, and that's what made this kind of fillery episode, for me, a lot more interesting. Plus, I like how they threw Sherlock into the mix because Sherlock could kind of relate in the sense that Tanya was, potentially going to be dating somebody, well, her dead husband from Earth 1, even though it's Earth 2 version, and Sherlock, as we know, is married the same woman from multiple universes, so he gets it. Now, as for that fight scene, I was thinking the whole time, blimey, like, they say that Gorilla Grodd is expensive to do, like an episode in previous seasons with not even this amount of CGI, but when they were doing that battle sequence, wow, not only was it cool and the effects were more than, how can I put it, like more than acceptable. It was actually pretty good. I was just thinking, wow, it's got to be so expensive with throwing in King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd, and the amount of stuff and sequence that they added into it was just insane. I liked it when Barry has learned quite a lot over the seasons, for example, facing Gorilla Grodd before, so he used his lightning punch and absolutely wrecked Gorilla Grodd. That was pretty cool, but he eventually got back up again. Nora and Barry even had to like use their Speed Force lightning to like zap King Shark, and he did his own Speed Force punch on Gorilla Grodd, thus saving the day. And I have to say, Gorilla Grodd looked very, very sad when he was getting the crown off his head there. I actually felt sorry for him. He looked like really down in the dirt, quite literally. But no, I don't know what else to say or detail about this sequence other than that it was a big, awesome comic book fighting sequence between two freaking Rogues Gallery members of the Flash, done very, very well. Pleasantly surprised by this. Now, by the end of the episode, obviously, King Shark is now staying as King Shark, and I felt sorry for Tanya because she was literally looking at him like in his own aquarium kind of thing. But it looks like they're going to try and maintain this kind of relationship, so I'm not judging, whatever. But, as I said, it is very sad. As I said, I didn't expect this kind of development for King Shark. And it really made me care about his character a lot more in The Flash than I ever remotely did before. I mean, I thought he was cool and everything, but, so this was really cool to see. By the end of the episode, on like that kind of, it wasn't exactly a cliffhanger, but I felt like it was almost served on the plate as one, but it was just like, I think we should give the cure to Cicada. I think we should offer the cure to Cicada. And just like, well, this isn't exactly new. I think episodes and episodes and episodes ago, before the cure was like developed, of course, I'll give you that, they were like, we need to use a cure on Cicada. But it's just like, it's the same thing. All you said is that you've got to offer it to him. So yeah, I don't know if I was expecting, I said in my trailer breakdown, it'd be pretty cool if we got like that post like Flash title screen scene of something else, maybe a development with Thorn, just to keep those other fans happy who didn't care so much about the King Shark versus Gorilla Grodd stuff, but they didn't chuck that in. As I said, it doesn't massively matter for me, but it would have been cool to chuck something else in with like the bigger main plot storyline, rather than to just right at the end of the episode say, we're going to offer it to Cicada. And I don't think he will say yes. I don't know. I just really don't think he will. But other than that, guys, that's all there is to really say about this episode. Pleasantly surprised. It was a very good job, actually. A very good episode in terms of what I was thinking. Mainly, the MVP was King Shark, and the writing, what they did from there was really, really cool. But I would love to know what you thought of it down in the comments below. So definitely leave me all of your thoughts. I do read every single comment. Like this video if you did enjoy this review. Let me know if you felt how I did. Do you agree with anything I said? Do you disagree? Links, as always, are in the description down below to my social media, to other places to support me like Patreon, or check out some of my Boba merch. But thank you so much for watching, Species. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.